Jim Larranaga, we love you, Jim Larranaga. Coach Larranaga, won't you do us a favor? Bring us a winner, one stinking winner. Deliver a winner in this town filled with losers.
Buenos dias. The cafecito is piping hot. Why not enjoy it with Defo and Lubie? It's now time for the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubitz here, and we welcome in. And maybe the song should have been "You Make Me Feel Like Dancing." Gonna dance the night away. We welcome in the man of the hour, the head coach of the University of Miami basketball team, Jim Larranaga, joins us here on the program. Jim, how are you, my friend? And where did you get the moves? I guess that would be the main question that's circulating around town. Not how did you do it, but those dance moves. I mean, you put us old Jewish guys to shame. As I'm still doing the two-step. You have legitimate, steps, Coach Larranaga. How are you?
Well, it goes back to this St. Helena's Friday night dance in the Bronx.
And Coach Curran, yes.
That's how I met my wife dancing. We were at a place called the Bronx Irish Center, and the band was playing, and I asked her to dance, and it was love at first sight.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. I mean, you haven't lost a step, and I think she was dancing with you after the win over Texas also.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That was great stuff. All right, let's go back and track the route that has now taken you to the Final Four. You've been there once before with George Mason, another sort of Cinderella story, although I don't know that qualifies in that count after winning the regular season in the ACC. But, people had you counted out many times. You are like the Arturo Gatti of basketball, and every time you're thinking, wow, that's it, that this is going to be too monumental of a task. You guys come up even bigger, including that first game in the Sweet 16 round. But when you took on Houston, a team that was supposed to come at you in waves and give you all kinds of problems, and you handled them. I mean, that might have been your best game of the tournament, in spite of the drama that was associated with the Texas win. Your team was a machine in that game.
Yeah, here's what I would say. Whether it was Houston or Texas, the guys were so focused on executing the game plan, and that is the whole key. Against Houston, they packed it in and tried to take away the twos, and we nailed 11 threes, shot the ball really well from the perimeter. Texas, on the other hand, came out and pressured us and denied us, so we started driving them to the basket. That's why you see someone like Jordan Miller, who's a great driver, get to the foul line and go 13 for 13 from the foul line. How good was that guy?
Oh, my God. We were saying, Coach, if you went to the park and were just playing an imaginary game with yourself because none of your friends were around and maybe it was raining a little bit, and you took like 20 shots of any type, you would have a tough time making them with nobody around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for sure. He was 7 for 7 from the field, 13 for 13 from the foul line, 20 consecutive shots, and you got to add to that his passing, his defense, his rebounding. I mean, the guy does everything well.
Well, what a polished player, too. You've been touting him all year. I think one of the announcers alluded to a statement and credited it to you that you thought he was the most underrated player in Division I basketball. And if you ever want a testament to that, it certainly was in this game against Texas, which for most of the game was pretty much of a struggle and found you down by 13. The story of the kids in the elevator, maybe you could relay that to our audience here. Prior to the Houston game, you were talking about packing it in the paint.
Yeah, so we have our evening meal the night before the game at 7 o'clock. We have a team meeting at 7:30. And my coaches and I go over the game plan. And the strong emphasis, the message to the players was, against Houston, we've got to pack it in the paint. They're a two-point shooting team. They're going to make some threes like every team does, but against these guys, we got to pack it in the paint. And we did a demonstration where I had DJ Irving, my assistant coach, take a basketball. We taped down the court in the ballroom where we were having our meeting. And then I put all 5 starters in the 3-second lane and told DJ to try to get to the rim. And of course, he couldn't do it. Then the players left. About 12 of them jumped on the first elevator. They pushed a button to go to their floor, and the elevator got stuck.
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
So we had to call the fire department.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
There were a dozen firemen there. They had to shut off the electricity. They had to figure out a way. The hotel we stayed in was 100 years old. Can you imagine the elevator?
God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
It was the size of most closets. and I'm not talking about walk-in closets. I'm just talking about like a hotel closet. We had 12 players. Norshad Omir took off his T-shirt and sat on the floor of the elevator while the firemen first took them, probably 5 or 10 minutes to get to the hotel, and then another 20, 25 minutes to actually get the door open so we could get the guys out.
Oh my God.
So during the Houston game, Houston went on a little bit of a run. And at the timeout, I looked at everybody. I said, look it, we got to pack the paint like we did the elevator last night.
And it worked. Well, whatever you need in terms of motivational, sayings at the time that can trigger your team to get on a run. All right, let's get into this Texas game because I have to say, Coach, I wasn't feeling it there. Down 13. And I remember I was talking to somebody, and people were texting back and forth, and I was saying, this game. In fact, it was the lovely and talented Leslie Visser. We were thinking that this isn't trending right. What's happening? It looked like Texas was getting, some offensive boards in there when Omir was out of the game and cashing in on the second chance opportunities. And then all of a sudden, this came out of nowhere, Coach. How did you manage to have these guys turn it around, or did they just have something click in where all of a sudden they're intense at the defensive end? And as you said, I mean, could you ever imagine a comeback like this without hoisting up a bunch of threes?
I watched and listened to the game last night. The broadcast crew of Jim Nance, Bill Raftery, and Grant Hill did a great job. And there was one point in the game in the second half that Grant Hill, in analyzing what had happened, was so accurate. He said, now that Norshad Omir is out of the game, Coach L and his staff have decided to switch all the ball screens. Mm. And that was the difference. We decided at one of the timeouts, the way they were getting their three-point shots and spreading our defense out was we were trapping the ball screen. They were pulling us away with the trap, pulling the trap away from the rim, and throwing it to the roll man in the middle of the court. Mm. And then he was able to attack 4-on-3. And so we decided, okay, we normally turn people over. We're not able to turn these guys over. They're not making any mistakes. Let's go to switching and see if we can keep them from getting that open. And the guys did a fantastic job. That's Wooga Poplar shut down Jabari Rice. And Jordan Miller came up with a deflection and a steal. Wooga got a rebound. And all of a sudden, Texas wasn't scoring regularly like they had been. And then I think also the team that's out in front often feels the pressure to stay out in front. And we were able to kind of chip away at the lead, one possession at a time. We got it to within 4. And then I knew we've been in so many games this year in the ACC that we're really good in close games. We don't win them all, but we executed very, very well. And when you have someone like Jordan Miller and Isaiah Wong, you just, at a timeout, I just said to those guys, hey, doesn't matter what offense we want to run, just score. And Isaiah said, okay, give me the ball.
Well, and that's what you saw. And that's what's interesting is, and that's why we love talking to you is, yes, we love going old school and Defo picking up names that no one's heard of since 1968. And you grew up with them and they're like your cousin. And we love that. But we also love that you're new school. Like you've embraced the 3-ball. You've embraced analytics. You've embraced all that stuff. But what we find so often in this day and age, especially like when the shots aren't falling or when you're against a defense that's looking to take away the 3-ball, teams say screw it and keep shooting it. What I find interesting is you knew going in already, got it in your kid's head already, that whether they were falling or not, it didn't matter. Once things got tough, you could see it. Like they were just going at the basket, Pack and Miller and O'Meara, and they were just aggressive and Wong in a way that most teams don't. Now everyone wants to move the ball, get to the basket, kick it out, shoot a 3. You guys weren't. You guys were down 13, which you'd want to shoot 3s more, and did the opposite. You guys went like sort of old school and said, look, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to go after them. We're going to get to the line, and we're going to get baskets any way we need to, which seems to be a departure from most teams nowadays.
Well, I agree with you because, one of the things I see, you see it in college, you see it in the NBA, and you even see it. I have grandsons, and I watch some of their games online, and you see it in those games. Everybody falls in love with the 3-point shot. And everybody thinks a 15-foot jump shot, a mid-range shot, is the worst shot you can take. It's not. It's not a lay. Yeah, but what I tell our players is simply this: take the shots you're good at making.
Yeah.
So Wooga Poplar and Isaiah Wong are elite 15-foot jump shooters. I would match them against anybody at any level of the ability to dribble to the elbow, the foul line area, the baseline, elevate and shoot a shot. They shoot the ball extremely well. Wooga had 3 or 4 of those against Texas. Isaiah, almost all his baskets, we ran an out-of-bounds play for him. He hit a baseline jumper.
Yep.
We called Horn's rescreen, which is a play for him. He's at the point. He gets 1 ball screen, then he gets a 2nd ball screen. He drives it into the elbow, elevates, and shoots a jumper. So players are not great at making every shot, every kind of shot, but they are. Almost everybody has their pet moves, their best shots. We call it your bread and butter, and that's what our guys did. One of the things about Jordan Miller, he's so good at reading the defense and what you're giving him. If you give him a 3, he'll bury a 3. But if you come out and pressure him, he's going to drive it right by you. That's why we got to the foul line so often.
Yeah, Wong showed shades of Kawhi Leonard on a run there.
Yes, he actually.
With all of these different turnaround jumpers that he was taking, and perfectly executed. And of course, it doesn't hurt. I mean, a coach doesn't lose any sleep when what were you at 19 for 21 from the free throw line?
Yes.
Oh no, I think we
in the second half.
More than that. Oh, that was second half. Yeah. So, again, one of the things is you got to take what the defense gives you, and with us, the 3 just wasn't there. We only took 8 of them. And we ended up the game 28 for 32 from the foul line, 87%.
Wow.
We outscored them from the foul line by 17 points, 28-11.
Wow.
So when you think of strategy, you think of a game plan, you got to ask yourself, one of the things, I'm not, a big baseball fan, but I know a little bit of baseball from growing up in the Bronx and following, the Yankees. One of the things that I always noticed about managers in baseball, when a certain batter was up, a guy they were concerned about, let's say he was left-handed and your pitcher was right-handed, they'd immediately go to the bullpen and say, no, this guy's too good against right-handed pitchers. We got to bring in a lefty who can throw them curveballs. And that's really what you have to do. It's a chess game. Your opponent makes a move, you got to have a counter move for that. And look at what we did, North Shadowmere. My coaches were mad at me at the end of the first half. Northshed only had one foul, and I took him out for the last 2.5 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
I said, Coach, why are you taking him out? I said, because we need him for the second half. Because last year, I left Sam Wardenberg in there, and he picked up his second. Then he immediately got his third to start the second half. And then all of a sudden, he was out of the game in the second half.
Yep.
And, there was so many things at halftime. I told the players, look, we were up by 6 against Kansas at the half last year in the Elite Eight. And they came out with a vengeance, really took it at us, got us in foul trouble, got to the foul line. We need to do the same today. We're down 8, but we need to attack these guys. And that's exactly what happened. You really have to have the vision of how the game's going to be played and what you need to do to execute your plan.
Oh, Amir picked up that first foul when he came off the bus, it seemed like, so that puts you in a little bit of a jackpot. All right, let's look ahead real quickly here. And we thank you so much for taking time to be with us. I know you're probably inundated with stuff, Coach, and it's always a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show, win or lose. But, this was so great. The Final Four also includes FAU. I don't know if you're in touch at all or in contact with Dusty May. But that's a hell of a story. Yeah. San Diego State is there, and you guys draw UConn, which everybody sees as the big juggernaut now, and a favorite to go ahead and ultimately win the title with the odds makers. What is your thought about going there? And it's your second trip now. It's been 17 years, a different set of circumstances. So if you can kind of capsulize your thoughts on going to the Final Four and what you're facing in UConn.
Well, first of all, back in 2006, when we took our George Mason team, the team we had to beat was UConn then.
Yep.
Right.
So now it'll take a great effort to beat UConn to get to the championship game. And Dusty May texted me right after our game, and I got right back to him. How about this? Last year, we played FAU at FAU.
Yes.
Any idea how the game ended?
I'm going to say they gave Gucci bags to everybody that walked out the door.
We went to FAU. Everybody told me you're crazy for playing on the road. I said, no, we got to get used to playing good teams on the road.
Yeah.
Isaiah Wong went coast to coast, and we beat him at the buzzer by 2.
Geez,
Wow.
So I knew then Dusty May is building a tremendous program. And a lot of the fruits of his labor, he and his staff, you see that in the NCAA tournament right now. And it'll be one heck of a matchup. San Diego State knocked off Alabama, and FAU has been on a roll. They got more wins than anybody in the country right now.
No, they've been great. And UConn, a team that, people that were handicapping the tournament were saying, well, you know what? They're in there with a live shot, certainly to make the Final Four. The way they annihilated Gonzaga, I don't know if you've looked at that yet, but I think that came as the biggest eye-opener with regard to UConn and their chances in the tournament. What are your thoughts about facing them?
Well, the biggest thing is my staff and I are working on a game plan, because the whole key is, can we execute our game plan better than UConn implements its game plan? Because every team is beatable. It's not like someone's unbeatable. You have teams, maybe in years past that everybody's saying, oh, they're destined for the Final Four before the year ever begins. And maybe it comes to fruition. But right now, there's so much parity in college basketball, and all the prognosticators are, picking the games, and then you find out, no, that was an upset. Oh, no, that was an upset. Look at when a team like FDU can beat a team like Purdue.
Yep.
That is amazing.
Yep.
Did we lose Coach Larranaga there?
Said that was amazing.
Oh, okay.
He's there.
There you go. I saw the.
The guys that got quiet.
It is phenomenal. So, as you head out there, and it's a weird perspective though. Have you ever have you been to that Energy Stadium? Because we were there for the Final Four when Villanova beat North Carolina in that dramatic game, and the look in the stadium. I mean, how much does that change the perspective for players? And is there a way to get used to that early in the game?
Yeah, it's been my personal experience when our George Mason team got to the Final Four that the dome, 75, 80,000 people, and you're playing in a football stadium.
Yeah,
that venue you do have to get used to.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like you're playing outdoors.
Yep.
The one thing is our team has played in the Carrier Dome, so we have some experience with it. But it'll be a different environment. We'll get a chance to practice on Thursday and Friday, and then hopefully play a great game on Saturday.
All right. Well, I don't know if we should hope for this or not. I mean, let's hope the hotel elevator isn't 100 years old. I don't know how you maintain your cool when you got that call, Coach.
Oh my God.
But we wish you the best of luck. It was fantastic and a great, great story being written here. I don't know if the tournament's ever been more exciting. I know we say this every year, but and you've been around a lot of them. I mean, is this the wildest you've ever seen?
It really is, and I'm cheering for an all South Florida championship game.
Yes, let's do it.
We're looking forward to it. And,
I got to run.
Yeah, thanks. I always appreciate it, Coach. Coach Jim Larranaga, ladies and gentlemen.